Welcome back, and today we're checking out another SCP video. This one's going to be 1007, Mr. Life and Mr. Death. Uh, no idea. That doesn't explain anything. All right, let's check out Mr. Life and Mr. Death.
A man is sitting in a chair inside a containment cell at the SCP Foundation. The man is dressed normally, and he isn't trying to escape or attack the researchers who are observing him. The only thing that makes this man different from you or I is that he ages right in front of us, going from a teenager to an old man in a matter of minutes. At first glance, SCP-1007 looks very normal, just a corpse lying in a standard coffin. Well, the corpse of an old man in a coffin being kept locked up in a containment chamber is normal when compared to some of the other strange anomalies that are found in the SCP Foundation's archives.
Well, there's our reptile,
Inside the
buddy.
coffin with SCP-1007 is a small metal key, and this is quite literally the key to seeing what makes this anomaly so special. On SCP-1007's back, between his shoulder blades, is a small keyhole. X-ray scans of 1007 have shown that the keyhole is just an empty socket. It's unconnected to anything. There's no internal clockwork mechanisms or other machinery that should be able to be activated by a key. When the metal key that is kept in SCP-1007's coffin, classified as SCP-1007-1, is inserted into the keyhole on 1007's back and turned, something truly incredible happens. As the key is turned, SCP-1007 undergoes a change unlike anything the SCP Foundation has seen before. With each turn of the key, the subject's physical age is reversed by 1 full year. Foundation researchers are able to watch 1007 age in reverse in real time. Even any decay that had set in on the corpse is completely reversed and disappears as the key is wound and 1007 gets younger and younger. As the key is turned, 1007 will continue to de-age, physically compacting and shrinking down until it appears to have the form of a newborn human child. It's unknown where the physical mass of 1007's body goes to, since this should defy the laws of physics. But those laws we assume to be a bedrock of our universe's reality are often more of a suggestion when it comes to anomalies the SCP Foundation deals with. Once SCP-1007 reaches the newborn baby stage, it will suddenly reactivate, coming to life immediately, regardless of how long it has been dead and lying in its coffin. Once 1007 is brought back to life, he will go through the entire human life cycle within a 75-minute period, experiencing what looks to be approximately 1 year of normal human growth and development for every minute that passes. That means that in the course of about 16 minutes, researchers will see SCP-1007 change from a crying infant to a fully grown teenager. As you can imagine, the subject has reported feeling excruciating pain during these first few minutes, as his bones rapidly lengthen and expand, and his muscles develop and change shape dramatically. SCP-1007 is able to watch with his young eyes as his bones move and set themselves into place, lengthening and widening in seconds during growth spurts that normally take months or years. After about 5 minutes, provided his legs have grown to the same length at the same time, he's usually able to prop himself up and stand. At around 10 minutes, the pain really starts. The bones crack and ache as they grow at their fastest for the whole cycle. Hair will also—
Oh man, that sucks. I'm just trying to figure out, like, what the point of it is. Like what?
to grow on his face and body, and he can't help but feel some amount of shame and embarrassment at what's happening to him in front of the Foundation researchers, who are taking copious notes. By 20 minutes, he can hardly think due to the pain. At this point, he usually lies down and curls into a ball, whispering to himself that it will all be over soon, that the pain won't last forever. After another 10 minutes, he's right. The pain has almost stopped completely by the 30-minute mark, but now as wrinkles and stretch marks start to set in, a different kind of pain reveals itself as SCP-1007 realizes that he must watch himself die. 40 minutes in, and he starts to reflect on his past, the life he was forced to lead as a kind of sideshow freak. More on that later, though. The physical decay happens faster now, warts and moles and other marks of age appearing on his skin. After 50 minutes, he is aware that over half of his life has passed, and he is reaching the end. His hair starts to fall out, as do his teeth, which he's never actually been able to use as he's never tasted food. As the 60-minute mark comes and goes, he begins to feel grateful for the coming end, with the escape from pain and the rest it would bring. His body has become very wrinkled by this point and is covered with age spots. His eyes begin to cloud, severely limiting his ability to see, and his hearing gets weaker and weaker until he can't comprehend anything the researchers say. At 75 minutes, it's all over. SCP-1007's body expires and he dies once again. He will remain as a corpse until the metal key is inserted into his back and the whole process starts once again.
Man, that's it's really weird. I mean, I'm just trying to figure out like why. Like most of these SCPs seem to be a creation of some kind or another. Um yeah. Or they're just like weird anomalous beings just kind of show up. But this guy, right, is 75 years old, and his only function, he's either a rotting corpse or his only function is to be reverted back to infancy so that he can grow at the rate of 1 year per minute until he reaches 75 and dies. What is the point of that? Like, it's not like that's not even useful for like medical studies because like can't like things won't even affect him at that rate. Like, yeah, I don't know, man. Hmm. Let's see if they tell us why this dude was created. For what purpose? That's my curiosity on this one. Like some of them I'm curious about how they're contained or where they came from. I'm curious on what this guy's purpose is.
Just as there appears to be no explanation for where the mass of SCP-1007's body goes as the key is wound during the reversal process, so too is there no explanation for where the energy needed for his rapid growth comes from. This process should violate the first law of thermodynamics, and Foundation research
Yeah, especially if he never eats during his whole lifespan. Yeah. Yeah.
researchers are very curious about the underlying process. The one constant that remains on SCP-1007's body is a small tattoo on his right calf, where the words Mr. Life and Mr. Death from Little Misters by Dr. Wondertainment.
Okay, so he's literally created by this Dr. Wondertainment guy. Okay. All right. But he was created. He wasn't just a person that just showed up.
Appear. This matches up with entry number 11 on document SCP-909, which lists a total of 20 Little Misters. SCP-1007 was recovered by Task Force Tau 6 during a raid on a mansion in California, along with several other anomalous creatures and objects. The owner of the mansion claimed that he acquired SCP-1007 at an auction hosted by Marshall, Carter, and Dark Limited. Marshall, Carter, and Dark Limited is a club based in London, England, that is famed for collecting and selling what it would describe as rare and obscure objects. Unfortunately, this often includes various anomalies that should be under the care of the SCP Foundation. And the club...
I mean, I guess I could see Marshall, Carter, and Dark selling something like Mr. Life and Mr. Death to one of their clientele for like because we went over Marshall, Carter, and Dark, and in that video it kind of explained that they sell anomalies to typically to very wealthy people, and they sell anomalies that are typically safe or anomalies that can make a lot of money, which makes sense. And then they also sell anomalies to kind of satiate these weird taboo type proclivities that people have, whether it was like the plates or the dinner set that turned any meat or any organic material into human body parts so that people could practice cannibalism. This seems like it would fall along the lines of maybe people that want to kill someone, right? Like you've got people that want to be cannibals and eat human flesh, but the dinner plates or whatever make it so that you can do that without actually having to kill someone. So maybe this is a way for these people to kill someone without actually killing someone, since this is basically like he's clearly alive. He can talk. He, you know, he recognizes his own lifespan and his own mortality. He feels pain and all that. But any damage done to him can be reversed. The whole thing can be reset. He's like a living crash test dummy almost, to where you can, for 75 minutes you can do whatever you want to the guy and you can just reverse all of that with the turn of a key when you're done. So, yeah, I could kind of see Marshall, Carter, and Dark selling Mr. Life and Mr. Death as exactly that. Hey, have you ever wanted to to satisfy your wildest fantasies of killing a person? Well, Mr. Life and Mr. Death will let you do that. Um I mean, because that's the only thing I can think of to do with something like Mr. Life and Mr. Death, because you can't really use them to for like medical purposes. Like you can't inject him with a disease and see how that will pan out, because the acceleration of his body is so fast. It's so accelerated. 1 year's worth of time goes by for him in 60 seconds. So it would be very difficult to use him as like a medical test subject. So yeah, man, I don't know, man. This is kind of a weird one, but okay. And every time I'm getting more and more curious about this Wondertainment guy as well.
Club's mission to provide its members with exclusive, expensive, and rare experiences means that they're often in conflict with the Foundation, and they have even been
Yeah, see, providing people with exclusive and rare experiences, like killing someone. Yeah, see, that's why I think this is what's going on.
responsible for several containment breaches. Marshall, Carter, and Dark Limited continues to be a very secretive organization, and the name of the director and a list of its members have so far been very difficult to obtain. At the auction they hosted, where SCP-1007 was offered for sale, there were apparently, along with Mr. Life and Death, at least 4 other Misters for sale, though the identity of the other buyers and which little Misters they may have purchased is still under investigation. The fact that SCP-1007 has the name Mr. Life and Mr. Death seems to imply that he may have originally been part of a set, though this counterpart Little Mister has yet to be recovered or even identified. In interviews with SCP,
Possible he's part of a set, but I don't know. It kind of also works just with him solo, because he is life and death. You get to watch a person live their whole life and die in the span of 75 minutes. So, I mean, he is Mr. Life and Mr. Death. So I don't necessarily think he's a pair, but I mean, possible.
1007, he has given his own personal theory that he embodies both names, and the designation is a reference to the way he alternates between life and death. However, the possibility still remains, though, that he may have a twin of sorts, and the Foundation continues to investigate its possible identity and location. SCP-1007's brief 75-minute life, followed by a death that lasts until he is rewound by a special key, means that he is easily contained and has been classified as safe. He is only to be activated during routine testing, and after experiencing death, he is to be placed back into his coffin.
Yeah, this guy's no threat at all, because even he's got what, 75 minutes of life where he's functioning and conscious, and what, 30 minutes of that 75 minutes is spent with him being either too small to do anything because like he's an infant or an adolescent. And then when he reaches a certain point where he's having all those growth spurts, then he's just on the floor writhing in pain as his bones rapidly grow and shift in painful ways. God, that's so terrible sounding. And it's only from like his 30s onwards where he's like, okay, I'm not writhing in pain anymore. I'm just slowly dying like the rest of us. Or in his case, quickly dying. But yeah, he's no threat. He's no threat.
And along with the key.
I mean, you literally just gotta wait him out and there's nothing he can do. So.
In keeping with current regulations for all anomalies that have been designated as misters, SCP-1007 is to be contained in Hall 8 of Site-13 for additional observation and study. Now go watch SCP-3000.
Alright guys, here's what I want to know. Who is Dr. Wondertainment and what are these other little misters? I'm kind of curious on this Wondertainment guy because he keeps popping up more and more. Is he a group or is he an individual? Or I mean, I assume he's an individual, but whatever. Anyways, guys, that was SCP-1007, Mr. Life and Mr. Death. Pretty interesting one. A little twisted, if you ask me. It's not scary or violent or it's not a cognito hazard, doesn't play with your head or anything like that. It's just, it would be a little weird, a little off-putting if you watched a person go from an infant to an elderly adult and die in front of your eyes in less than an hour and a half. It would almost, and the worst part about it is like the person, Mr. Life and Mr. Death, is sentient. Every time he lives that 75 minutes, he goes through that pain of growing and that existential dread of getting older and dying. That's rough. That's rough. Yeah. Anyways, guys, I hope you liked this video. If you did, like, subscribe, leave a comment down below. Let me know what other little misters are there. What other little misters can I check out? What other SCPs do you guys want to see? Leave them down in the comments. Until next time, guys, as always, take care of yourselves. Have a great day.